Welcome to the Revero Success Story Podcast. I'm Tracy, your host and a coach here at Revero. We're here today with Larry, and he's going to share with us his success on the carnivore diet. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Tracy.
Thank you for coming to our show, and I'm excited to hear your story. But can you begin by telling me, what foods did you eat and what health conditions did you have prior to coming to a meat-based diet?
Sure. So, growing up, I always had a pretty healthy diet. My family, I'm from a country called Bosnia, and in Bosnia, we eat a lot of meat. Meat and potatoes is pretty much the typical Bosnian diet. So growing up, I always ate pretty healthy, quote unquote healthy. We ate a lot of organ meats. We ate a lot of, like I said, potatoes, rice, that sort of thing. And overall, I stuck to that diet, but it didn't really work out that well. Maybe I wasn't eating enough, or I don't know exactly what happened. But when I was 16, I started to develop skin issues. I started to develop really bad anxiety. My gut was always in pain for some reason, and I didn't understand why that was. I would assume it was diet, even though I thought my diet was healthy. I was still eating a lot of, I was also still eating the standard American diet. I was having pizza every once in a while, cheeseburgers, McDonald's. I was a 16-year-old kid. I mean, it's kind of to be expected. But yeah, I was left with anxiety and skin issues, and that started to get better from 16 to when I turned 18, because that's when I started bodybuilding, when I started working out, when I started getting into health and fitness. I started to eat the standard bodybuilding diet, which is just chicken breast, rice, broccoli. And it really helped me a lot. My anxiety went down. My skin issues somewhat healed. And overall, I was feeling better. I thought, hey, this is a really good diet. Things are starting to improve. But I quickly realized that, not quickly, but over 4 years, I realized that it wasn't working for me anymore, because that same diet that worked for me then did not work for me now, because I was around the age of 23, 24, I started to develop really bad back problems. It was around my lower back. And I realized, I thought maybe I slipped a disc, or maybe I might have hurt myself from the work that I did at that time. But I realized that I store inflammation in my lower back. So whenever I eat certain foods, I get inflammation in my lower back. And around this time, I started cutting out pasteurized milk, because I listened to these health experts that said, oh, milk is bad and you shouldn't drink milk, which I agree, pasteurized milk isn't the most optimal milk. And I switched to raw milk now, but I thought, okay, cool, I'm going to switch to almond milk. And that is what I think caused my back problems the most, because whenever I would drink it, the next day I'd wake up with really horrible back pain. And then when I'd eat peanut butter, I'd wake up with back pain. So, I was trying to, and I thought that was healthy. And now I understand that it was caused from that, but I didn't know at that time. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Like, why am I getting these back problems? Why is my anxiety getting worse? And then around September, I think it was 2 years ago, 2 years ago in September, I had psoriasis. I had these red spots all over my skin, and I was eating healthy. I was eating almond milk with my protein shake, chicken breast and rice, eggs, oatmeal. But why do I have this horrible back pain? Why do I have anxiety? Why don't I feel good? I'm eating a lot of calories. And it just got to a point where I didn't know what to do. So I just prayed. I said, I didn't know. I just reached out to God. I said, God, help me deal with this back pain. I don't know what to do. And these skin issues. And, I just wasn't where I wanted to be in life. I was actually planning to go on the carnivore diet around springtime, but I chose to do it that week because I saw Jordan Peterson's podcast, and I saw Joe Rogan's podcast, and Jordan Peterson was on there, and he talked about how carnivore diet healed his skin issues, and then I started it that week. So.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So you think the nuts were what was causing your back pain mainly? The almonds and peanut butter?
I would assume so. I mean, now I learned the importance of balancing a omega-3 to 6 ratio. I didn't know that at that time. I just assumed, okay, if I just take fish oil, I'll be okay. That didn't help at all. It was just too much linoleic acid for me to handle, that my body was just storing this inflammation in my lower back. I could not bend over. Um, so I would say for me personally, I could not handle the nuts and the almond milks and even certain vegetable oils. Whenever I would eat, like whenever I'd go out and I would eat a really greasy burrito, that's my favorite cheat meal. I love really greasy burritos from a taco stand. I can eat that, but when I eat too much, I wake up the next day with back pain. And I know it's cooked in vegetable oils and it's delicious, but I personally just can't handle it. So I know it's from the nuts, from the vegetable oils that cause me to cause my inflammation to go out of control. So
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Even though you were so young. Wow.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
also, I know you heard Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan. Is
Mhm.
that where you initially heard about carnivore, or did you hear about it somewhere else?
I actually heard, so that same interview that Joe Rogan had with Jordan Peterson, I actually saw it. I actually saw that interview a while back. The only difference is that um I just somehow just came across it. Like YouTube recommended it to me, and I just came across it, and I saw it won't, but I saw the full thing this time, and I actually listened to what he had to say, and then he talked about he talked about his daughter's experience, and I saw her experience, and it just really motivated me. I said, okay, I'll try it out. So,
Awesome. So did you just start out eating steaks, or how did you implement it? And did you have any transitional issues?
well, uh, basically, I just went to Safeway and I just bought whatever steak I could find. I just saw it and I just bought a bunch of steak. And at first, I was looking into the hyper carnivore diet because um, there was this guy. His name is like Don Matisse, I think. I'm not really too sure if that's how you say his name, but he came up with a hyper carnivore diet, and I wanted to try that out first. So I just went to Safeway. I bought some steak. I went home, cooked it, and I still made my protein shake, but this time I made it with pasteurized milk, so that was a little better. But yeah, I started off with hyper carnivore, and then as I started to connect with the carnivore community, I started to, start to look into people like Paul Saladino and ShawnBaker and their way of eating, and I kind of just said, okay, I'm gonna try. I think it was ShawnBaker's way of eating because I know he eats mostly just steak, and for a week straight, I think I ate mostly steak. I didn't eat eggs. I didn't eat any other. I didn't eat the whole nose to tail approach that Paul Saladino preaches about. So I was doing that for a week or two, and I wasn't. I didn't get any transitional issues till the first month, where I was getting problems with digestive issues. You know how carnivores, either they have that diarrhea issue thing. I had that, you know, I had that for a week, and I thought something was wrong. Then I quickly realized it was just a transitional thing, and it went away after 3 days. And that was my only issue, not something I like talking about, but that's the only thing that happened. Um, Overall, it was a really, besides that, it was a smooth transition. I adapted really quickly. Within a month, all of my back pain went away, all my anxiety went away, and I felt like a new man. So
Wow, yeah, that's awesome. But transitional issues do happen, and yours was short, so that's really good.
yeah,
But a good month, doing it a good month will get you past a lot of that. And
absolutely.
yeah, so and that's what your experience was also. So,
Well,
what do you eat in a day now, typically?
so now I'm going back to where I started, which was hyper carnivore, animal based. I'm introducing carbs again, and I'm only doing it just to bulk up and kind of experiment for my YouTube and show my audience how I bulk up, how I focus on gaining muscle and that sort of thing. And I'm introducing the carbs that was recommended by Paul Saladino and other carnivores on an animal-based diet. I'm eating mainly potatoes. I'm eating fruit, local in-season fruit, potatoes, and raw milk. That's my only source of carbs right now, and I'm having a good experience on it. My energy levels are good. I don't have any inflammation from those carbohydrates. Those are carbohydrates that I handle really well, and I'm having a good experience right now. It's only been a week, and I'm gaining some weight. I'm I don't know exactly what's going to happen 2 weeks from now, but the way it's going now, I'm pretty optimistic. So
Okay. So you've said your anxiety went away and your back pain went away. Was your skin issues, how did those do?
so my skin issues, I had like these weird psoriasis spots that just never went away. They would stay there. They would stay there for months at a time, and when they did go away, they would go away for like one day, and then they would come back instantly and just stay there for a long time. Um, the carnivore diet has helped me get rid of that. But with skin issues, one thing I realized is I've had vitiligo since I was 16, and I don't have it anymore. I don't know. I thought this was something that just spreads. It wasn't the carnivore diet itself that cured it. It was the carnivore way of thinking that it was the carnivore way of thinking that cured it, because I know within the carnivore community we really preach and we really care about going in the sun, getting our vitamin D and tanning. um and I started doing that. I started going in the sun way more. I started tanning more. I started being out, and that cured my vitiligo. I don't have any white spots, and I'm just shocked. I'm thinking, wait, so if I'm just in the sun, my vitiligo goes away? So right now, my skin is a nice even tone. I still get heat rashes every once in a while because I think the way my body is I'm very sensitive to like heat, or I don't know exactly what it is. Like I get heat rashes very easily, especially if I wear clothes. But if I'm in the sun and I'm sweating, I don't get heat rashes. And that's the only thing. But that's just my issue. I don't think that's just my issue. But yeah, overall my skin issues are gone. My vitiligo has disappeared because of being out in the sun. And yeah.
Well, that's good. Do you burn easily, or you just have been going out minimal times to start with?
I don't really burn that easily. I mean, if I'm if I'm in a if I'm in a if I'm in, for example, when I was in California, I didn't sunburn. I gradually expose myself to the sun. I'll stay there for 15 minutes, especially because I live in Seattle, we don't get any sun for pretty much the whole year till spring. It's gray, it's cloudy, there's no need for the sun. So I get really, really white. And then once the sun comes out, I gradually expose myself. And then once I get a tan, I don't burn at all anymore. And I get a tan very easily. So that's just my experience. Once I get a tan, I pretty much can't burn. I don't burn unless it's like 100 degrees, but I don't really expose myself to that hot weather. So
Oh yeah, a lot of carnivores say they don't burn, so it's kind of interesting.
yeah.
I was going to ask you to kind of explain, what does hypercarnivore mean?
Mhm. So hypercarnivore is honestly, I still want to be labeled under carnivore. It's just the same thing as animal based. It's 70%. It's someone who eats 70% meat. They're under hypercarnivore. I think 100% carnivore, but it's pretty much just a way for me to still label myself as carnivore because I still eat majority of my meat meals are meat, fruit, and maybe a potato. So it's still considered hypercarnivore. Um, but the diet itself is Paul Saladino's version. It's animal based. It's the fruits that he recommends, the fruits and the vegetables with the least amount of toxins in them.
Oh, okay. So what kind of fruits are those?
So the only thing I'm really eating right now is an apple. Um, I like eating local. I like eating in season, and that's what's in season right now in Washington. So that's what I'm eating right now. The only thing I don't do is he recommends sweet potatoes. I don't like sweet potatoes. I never did. I never will. I grew up on potatoes. I absolutely love them, and I feel really good on them. Mainly because it has, I think, a more potassium, more magnesium than sweet potatoes. And I know that magnesium and potassium is a little harder to get on the carnivore diet. So I see regular potatoes as kind of a supplement for potassium and magnesium, and it's doing me really good. My energy's going up. I have no problems digesting potatoes, and that's mainly what I'm sticking to is just potatoes and apples at this point. Oh, and raw honey too. I like raw honey, but it's not in season right now, so I can't really get access to it.
Okay, I see. So you've been a carnivore for, is it 2 years now?
Um, I would I would say 1.9 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because around this time is where I started the carnivore diet, and my first month was around like October, so 1.9 years.
Yeah, well, it's great that you're on it already at such a young age, because eating a standard American diet for 40, 50 years, that'll get you,
Yeah,
you know, pretty bad. But so nice that you found it when you're young, and you look really great. You look all tan and yes, very youthful.
thank you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's spot on. Even though I have one of my friends, he always tries to get me to eat whatever. He said, no, you don't have to eat this way. You don't have to do that. You're still young, and you should do it when you're older. And it just didn't work for me. I mean, maybe my body can't handle it, but I can't handle the standard American diet. As soon as I try to eat these carbohydrates, as soon as I eat the wrong carbohydrates, or as soon as I drink almond milk, my body freaks out. I can't handle it. And you know, I'm glad that I chose to start eating this way earlier. My mentality is I want to start now. I don't want to start later. I want to just start eating healthy now while my body's still young and youthful, so that, when I get older, it'll be a little easier for me. And that's the way I see it will be. I don't want to cause any damage right now.
Definitely. Yes. That's good thinking.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Larry, for coming and sharing your information. Do you have a best tip for anyone if they're just thinking about this way of eating?
Mhm. Yeah, I would say follow Paul Saladino's work, because he talks a lot about nose to tail. And it's very, very important to get as nourished as you can on this diet. You want to make sure you're getting your organ meats in, because muscle meat is good and you'll be okay, but there's always a better way to do it. You can get more nutrients in liver or in heart or in brain. So you want to incorporate more of these organ meats with whatever you're eating. Steak, eat it with the organ meat. Steak, eat it with some fish. There's more nutrients and there's a variety. So just eat all the meats you can, eat the whole animal nose to tail. And if you're still feeling tired, I'd recommend raw milk, because it has helped me. So that's my tip.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Larry. I hope you have a great evening.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Join Revero.health for a 30-day free trial to get access to live Q&A with VIP guests, social community meetings, member discounts, low-carb healthcare providers list, forum, workouts, monthly challenges, early access to podcasts, recipes, carnivore diet guide, fasting guide, shred guide, and much more.